because number one, we were in a financial place where we could just get up and just go spend on whatever we wanted to. Like we really had to have a budget, and there were sometimes there wasn't a budget, and so just asking God to give
Mm.
us creativity on what and how we can still make memories and do great things with our family and also with each other.
You're listening to the Favorite Marriage Podcast with Monty and Jeannine Mora, a place where you and your spouse can experience God's favor on your forever. Enjoy this week's episode of The Favorite Marriage.
Hi, friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Favorite Marriage Podcast. We are your host, Monty and Jeannine Mora. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic called wanderlust.
Mm-hmm.
You heard of that term before?
Yes.
Wanderlust. And I didn't know what it meant until my beautiful wife provided wonderful education to me on that topic. But really, wanderlust, it literally just means a dreamy desire to explore and travel.
Yeah.
And so lust of travel and exploration, right? Wanderlust.
Is this a good lust?
For travel?
Because I mean, there's good lust and bad lust, right?
Well, it's in the context of traveling. So you have a desire to travel.
So there's
there's
strong desire.
yeah.
It's-
So it's not a bad lust, because like a bad lust is like coveting something else that's not really yours. That's not yours.
Right.
That's yeah. So back to wanderlust, ladies and gentlemen. We were thinking about different types of things, and when it comes to wanderlust, there's these ideas of families taking vacations, and then there's staycations, and
Mhm.
there's playcations, and all these different things that a couple can do, or
Right.
even a family. But really, what we're wanting to help you understand and even communicate during this episode is that we want every summer that you experience, including this summer, to have a wonderful, beautiful memory with your spouse and even your family, your kids. If you're married, you have children, we want you to have that wonderful experience together as a family. And so
Right.
that's what we're going to be talking about is wanderlusting.
Yeah. And for us, we have done more of staycation this summer. We did have some plans originally that we thought we were going to get away and maybe travel and hit the East Coast.
Yeah.
But we didn't end up doing that. And so some of our staycations we've been doing have been just here around our beautiful state of Colorado, which also have been some of our bucket lists. So for our listeners that have been watching from the beginning of our Summer Lovin' episode, we started a bucket list for the summer. So for our listeners, I have a little tin can here that just says bucket list, and inside the can we put some ideas and thoughts that we would like to accomplish this summer. And
Yeah.
I think we're doing a pretty good job, don't you think, of accomplishing some of these?
I think we're doing a great job.
Yep. So we have we've eaten some strawberry shortcake. So there's some really easy ones that we want to encourage you. But some really easy, very manageable goals or
Goals, ideas.
ideas and in there.
That one was mine. Eat some strawberry shortcake, because that's some good dessert right there.
Yeah.
I love me some good dessert.
Yeah, so it was a very simple and easy checklist. I mean, we just checked the box. We had some strawberry shortcake. Some of the other ones that you're going to want to put in your bucket list will be something you have to plan out for the weekend, and maybe put a few weeks of planning in there. But we have canoe together on a Colorado lake, which I think we're going to be doing in 2 weeks. And we went to Pikes Peak this last weekend.
Oh, that was amazing.
It was a beautiful experience. We have lived in Colorado all of our lives, and neither one of us has ever been to the top of America's mountain, Pikes Peak, and it was such a great experience.
Yeah.
And we had to do a little bit of planning on that one.
Yeah,
And
and
we're gonna-
just for the record, we did not hike it. We took the cog rail up to the mountain. So
oh, well, I was just gonna let them think
we cheated our
hadn't.
way up the mountain. Shh, don't tell
What
nobody.
we officially did a 14er, but we had some help.
Yes.
Visit a flower garden. We still have yet to do that, and then we also made a new meal together. We cooked up some eggplant
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
Yeah.
So just some very manageable ones that you could accomplish in a day, in an evening, and then some ones that you can plan. We're making memories,
Yes, we are.
and we want to
Yeah.
encourage you to do the same.
Yeah, and if you have, if you're doing, you have your bucket list that you've already have put in there or ideas, please send them. Maybe take pictures and then hashtag us at the favorite marriage,
Hmm.
and it'll go directly to our
Yeah.
hashtag. And we love to see what you're doing as far as your summer bucket list. And also, if you have ideas, send them to us because
Yeah.
we would love to throw them out to our audience because I'm sure our audience is always looking for creative
Hmm.
ideas of how to make
Yeah.
their summer special. And so,
We should create a hashtag like
summer lovin', hashtag summer lovin'.
TFM, the favorite marriage, summer lovin' bucket list. That's kind of
So
maybe
why
like,
don't we do hashtag TFM summer lovin'?
okay, there
So
it
there
is,
it is.
folks.
Yeah,
Created right here on the spot. Hashtag TFM summer lovin'.
summer lovin'. Yeah,
And if some of you are wondering what it stand for, favorite
the
marriage.
favorite marriage, which is what the podcast you're listening to right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Well, let's go ahead and dive into the content.
Okay.
There's something special about taking an adventure together as a husband and wife. And
Mhm.
so we want to give you three quick ideas, or maybe, would you say, not ideas, but
Mm.
guidelines? Yeah. Guidelines, maybe. So, three quick ideas, guidelines that start with the letter P. And the first
Mhm.
one is plan. And so, as you're planning, obviously, to take some type of adventure together, you want to be able to talk it out as far as a husband and wife, plan what you want to do, and maybe even determine like uh, put some guidelines on the adventure.
Mhm.
You can say, as we're planning this, this is how long we want it to happen, and if we planning this, um,
How much we wanna pay.
how much you want to pay, where do we want to go,
Mhm.
what do we want to do, and so there needs to be a discussion of planning, in advance, obviously, what you're going to do. But if you might be you might want one of those couples where you just like to do random things, or you just like get your car keys and let's go. We've done that a few
Yeah,
times.
sometimes those are the best experiences and adventures.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember we used to do that with the kids, and you just, like, all of a sudden, everybody's doing their own thing, and you would come in and say, "Hey, y'all wanna do something random?" And we would just go do something crazy,
yeah.
something random
And that wasn't unplanned. That was just on the spur of the
on this
moment.
birth. Yeah.
But in this context, like when you're going to adventure together, you might want to sit down and have a little planning session
Mhm.
together so that you have the idea of what you're going, where you're going, and what you're going to be doing.
Right. And we totally understand that we are hosting this episode in the middle of summer. We are at the end of June right now, and probably some of you who are listening to this have already done your planning, might have already done your vacation and you're back. And we understand that. And so we're also just encouraging you, like if you've already done that, there's some other, takeaways you can take from this episode, but
Yeah.
also just for future reference, for next year, or even if you're planning something in the fall break, Christmas break, these can apply for really any time. And honestly, I was thinking today, Monty, for a lot of people that are on vacation themselves, and most likely those are teachers, administrators, those who work in education. Ran into a friend yesterday, and we were just talking about just when we're done with the vacation, like what's next, for the rest of the months before we anticipate going back, and that really could be a struggle. Like it really can
I
be
imagine it can
something.
be. Yeah.
Yeah, like you get into the summer slump, and then you get into the ideas of just like thinking about going back to work and all those types of yeah, struggles in your mind. And for those of you who are in that place, we just want to encourage you, just to really just ask God for creativity.
Hmm.
When we were planning, when the kids were younger and we were planning vacations, staycations, playcations, there was a lot of praying that we had to do, because number one, if we weren't in a financial place where we could just get up and just go spend. on whatever we wanted to. Like we really had to have a budget, and there were sometimes there wasn't a budget. And so just asking God to give
Mm.
us creativity on what and how we can still make memories and do great things with our family and also with each other. And we were able to tap into
Yeah.
a lot of good resources.
Yeah.
So in your planning, I just want to encourage you that dig into some resources. There are some amazing resources online, especially for those of you who are in full-time ministry, because we understand that not all people have this elaborate budget that they can just go do Cancun or, take a trip to Hawaii on or Disney World. We understand that and we've been there,
Yeah.
and thank God for those organizations and businesses that say, hey, we're going to discount your state if you're in full-time ministry, if you're an educator, first responders. There's so many resources out there. Tap into those. Research. They're just right there at your fingertips if you
Yeah.
just search and just ask God for guidance. And I keep saying pray and ask
Yeah.
God for guidance, as I fully believe that we have seen God come through in so many ways. We have done some amazing things with
Yeah.
our kids based off just the Lord opening doors
Yeah. I
and
th-
providing.
I think of, and this is for all the wives out there, Janine. Put on that Proverbs 31 spirit about you.
Mhm.
You've done that many times where you went and you searched, you looked
Yeah.
for a good a
Deals.
good
Yeah.
deal, and you got it. And so tap into that Proverbs 31 spirit right there, wives. That'd be really good.
Yeah.
Be
And yeah,
creative. Yeah.
especially on those staycations and playcations, because
Yeah.
you these days you're battling with electronics and everything that's trying to pull your kids in. You have to be so creative enough
Yeah.
to make them interested.
hmm So plan, talk it out, decide what you're going to do.
Mhm.
And then the second P is pivot. And
Mhm.
this is something we know quite a bit about. And sometimes when you're on the vacation,
Yeah.
staycation, playcation, things just might happen
Yeah.
unexpectedly that just kind of throw a monkey wrench into
Right.
the whole situation. And it's at that point where you have to pivot.
Mhm.
And there have been several times during vacation with us, and even this last weekend, where we had to make a pivot.
Mhm.
And you want to talk about a couple of those?
Yeah, let's do, because it's so real and it's almost always going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, you can have the best plan, and for those of you who are very organized and you have day 1 all the way to day 7 or 5,
hmm
whatever amount of time you're going, you have it planned to a T. And for those of you who are like that and something just gets tossed out of order, I understand that.
Yeah.
And I have had to learn a lot, like just pivot and pivot with grace, right? Because when those
Mm,
things happen,
yes.
there could become that tension, right? And that's what can totally ruin an experience, ruin a vacation, staycation. It could just totally throw everything for a loop, and then you don't ever want to remember that.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
pivot with grace. And we've had a couple of situations like that. I'm thinking,
Well, this last weekend.
yeah, right.
So
So
you want
no, you go ahead.
so our
This was your thing.
yeah, our summer bucket list was to make it to the top of Pikes Peak,
Yeah,
which
that
is
was his little entry in the bucket list. He was
14,000, 11, 15, 115 feet. It was pretty amazing.
Mhm.
So that was our bucket list.
Yeah.
And so we were going to drive that day.
Yep.
We were going to drive up on Sunday.
Mhm.
And so we drive up to the Pikes Peak Highway, which is the entry up to the mountain to make the ascent. And we realized it's closed.
Yeah.
The highway is closed. And
Yep. Mind you, we did try to do our planning, right?
Yeah.
We called, we watched videos. We're like,
we did it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Except when we got there, it
Yeah.
turns out that the day that we choose to do this
of all
is the
days.
day of the year where they do the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb. So they get
Yeah.
they get cars, racers from all over the nation.
World.
We're all
It's
over
like-
the world. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
international.
Yeah.
And they drive and they speed up to the mountain. They race up to the mountain. Whoever wins, gets the prize. Well, it was happening on Sunday.
Yeah. How we missed that.
Wasn't on the
I don't know.
website.
No.
Like that. So we're like, what are we gonna do? So we drove back down, and we parked in Santa's North Pole
Workshop.
Workshop parking lot. So we're sitting there trying to figure out what are we going to do now? And so we realized that there was a cog railway that went up
Mhm.
to the mountain. So we drove back into a little town called Manitou Springs here in Colorado. And we were able to finally be able to purchase 2 tickets
Yeah.
for the cog rail. And we were able to finally get on the cog rail and we took our trip up to the mountain.
Mhm.
We finally made it up to the mountain. And so,
Right. And it
w-
was the last
and
train
yeah,
too.
that's right. Yeah. And
It
so,
was good. So with that scenario, because we have learned over the years how to pivot with grace.
yeah,
I mean, we were okay with going to Santa's workshop if it came down to it. We were
yeah.
like, we're just gonna be a couple of old fogies walking around in a child's amusement park.
With
It's
no
okay.
kids.
Yeah, we were gonna be
Yeah.
fine with it. But then
Yeah.
we found the cog rail. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking of our vacations, like the cruise when I had that claustrophobic like
Episode.
a panic attack episode on our cruise, and you pivoted with grace and you stepped in and helped me and we got through that. And I'm thinking when you got sick, remember that when
We
we
went in
went
Cancun, went
we
snorkeling,
went snorkeling,
and
you got sick,
I
poor
got
baby.
sick on the water, and yeah,
Didn't
we had
turn
to
out like
pivot.
we
Yeah,
wanted it at first,
yeah,
we had this idea of being able to see all the sea creatures and have this great experience and
yeah,
for Monty sick.
yeah. It happens.
It happens.
But Janine, I think the important phrase we keep saying in this piece here is learn to pivot with grace. That is so very important because you can ruin a moment of vacation with your family
Mhm,
by just blowing up, getting
mhm.
angry, getting upset, getting mad, and to where you just kind of ruin the atmosphere for the entire family. So we would encourage you if you have to pivot in a moment when you're on vacation or staycation, playcation, and if something happens, just pivot with grace. Tell
Yeah.
yourself, I am pivoting with grace.
Mhm.
I'm needing grace right now for my family, grace in this situation. I'm going to be graceful with my spouse, with
Yeah.
my kids.
Well, that's the
That's,
important piece is
yeah,
like with each other because the kids are watching, right? And then
sure are.
when we have shown how to pivot with grace, like I mean a fishing trip gone bad, or something
Yeah.
like that, or um an RV almost falls in the trench. I remember my mom telling me about that situation. It's like she was able to pivot with grace, and then it turned out great. But I would like talk about when we went to Florida. Do you remember that? And it was almost a disaster
Yeah.
because so y'all need to
Yeah.
know a little bit about my husband. He's very mild tempered, just chill, cool guy all the time. Most of the time. Most of the time. And we were lost in Florida and our kids were in high school. I think Janice was in middle school. And he was very frustrated. And I think our kids were kind of, I don't know, they were just being themselves and
And by mind you, it was hot and humid.
hot.
And yeah.
We were tired. And we were lost. And I think Jared had GPS on,
Yeah.
right? And this was already where everybody's just kind of tired and tension. And he's mentioned about how to get back on track.
Yeah. It's like,
And
where we going is what I said.
yeah,
And Jared, my son, he says, go north,
make a U-turn.
make a U turn. And I thought he was pulling my chain. And I got a
thought he
little
was making
upset.
fun of you.
Yeah. I thought he was making fun of me. And then because I'm in Florida, guys, I don't know where north is.
There's no
Like,
mountains
where's
to
north?
show you west. Yeah,
And so, but you know how GPS, they'll say, go north and then make a U turn, turn right.
he was
And
serious.
man, that was one of those moments where, yeah,
I think everybody pivoted with grace for you that moment
yeah,
because we just kind of laughed and we got to where we needed to
yeah.
get to. But that
Now that's
was
the joke of our family
yeah, that's
vacations.
something that they look back at and they still talk about and we laugh about it all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think Cake by the Ocean.
yeah,
It was your birthday. We wanted so bad to have Cake by the Ocean because like that was the song of the year or something. It played like 100 times on our vacation
yeah.
and you were like, "I want Cake by the Ocean."
Cake by the
Yeah.
ocean.
So as your
Yeah,
wife, I wanted to give you that so bad and I remember we went and bought a cake. We got to our little resort there on the
yeah.
on the beach, Cocoa Beach,
Cocoa
right?
Beach, yeah.
And it was like a tsunami. like out of nowhere, wind came, and we were like, "How are we gonna do this?" It was dark by the time we got there.
Yeah.
So we were trekking through like,
See, we don't know.
grass that was up to our heads trying to get to the beach, and it was windy. And so finally we stopped. We were like, "Okay, we are on the beach." And we made this circle, all of us, to try to light candles, and it took us like probably 10 minutes to get the candles lit. We sang happy birthday, you blew out the candles, and we left.
Yeah.
I mean, that is not how I wanted you to have cake by the ocean, but that's another memory that they have.
Yeah.
So when you pivot with grace,
Mhm.
you could either make it or break it. So if you want to make it, pivot with grace.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of great memories, a lot
Mhm.
of great opportunities to pivot with grace, and I'm sure you all have your
News
pivoting
stories.
stories as
Yeah.
well. And so let's go ahead and dive into the third P,
Yes.
and we'll begin to land the plane here in just a minute. And so the third P, when
Mhm.
we're talking about wanderlusting and satisfying this desire to want to travel and explore together with your spouse and your kiddos, the third P is purpose. Now, this is really important because when you plan like a vacation, staycation, or playcation, whatever it is, you have to begin with the end in mind. Like, what's
Yeah.
going to be the purpose
Mhm.
of this adventure together? So, some of the purposes could be we're going to go get away and we're going to recharge. That's going to be our
Yeah.
purpose. We're going to go and this is going to be a time for us to bond together, intimate. We're going to bond in intimacy, like just drawing closer
Yeah.
together,
Husband and wife going
husband and
together,
wife.
getting away.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is going to be a time where we're going to go and just have fun,
Yeah.
right? Let your hair down. I mean, she'll let her hair down. I don't have a lot of hair, but yeah, let your hair down. Just have fun. Uh, the other purpose would be mental and physical health.
Right.
It
Which is
just
so important.
Yeah, that is. Sometimes you just need to get away and not be busy and not have any like specific plans when you get there, but
Mhm.
just to recharge and to let your mind just kind of like decompress and get that mental health and that mental strength back.
Yes.
Once again, because I think that's important, especially for busy families and busy couples and
Mhm.
married couples that are super busy.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just need to get away and have some us time
Right.
and get that mental stability back in the
Yeah.
mind.
I'd like to clear up something real quick, Monty. I think when people think of self-care, there's this idea, sometimes Christians have this thought about, oh, it's kind of selfish, self-care, and they
Mm,
think it's something that is not important as caring for others, right?
sure.
Because Jesus serve and, save the lost, and we got to be like Jesus. But Jesus also took care of himself, and he many times got away and separated
Mm,
himself and was able to recharge. And when you're doing those moments, when you're having those moments and you're doing that self-care, just keep in mind that our savior, that Jesus did that as well. And it's really really
mm,
important. I've been doing a lot of that this summer, a lot of just reading and replenishing just the drive that has been sucked out of my just my mind, my thoughts, like my energy from
sure.
the school year, So
Right.
whatever your job is, I'm sure there's always this sucking out of that you're giving out, you're pouring out, right? So sometimes it gets sucked out and sometimes you pour it out, But whatever it is, you're emptying yourself.
Yeah,
So it's so important to refill yourself,
sure.
and especially spiritually.
Yeah.
That's the most important.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point. And I love how you mentioned about Jesus. He often
Mm.
withdrew to quiet places. And there were moments where the disciples were looking for him. Like, where's Jesus? Where's Jesus? He withdrew. And sometimes they'd find him on a mountainside praying. He'd be on a boat. Imagine he would just slip away, get away from like some of those
Yeah.
disciples like Peter and Andrew and James and John, you know. Um, but
I
sometimes
just
you
need a
need
break
that.
from them guys.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm telling
I
you.
understand that.
Yeah. But the spiritual recharge, so that could be another purpose of getting
Mhm.
away. Is just we're going to get away and we're going to do a spiritual recharge moment here where we're going to get replenished spiritually. Maybe this is your time to spend some extra time alone in prayer, in
Yeah.
meditation, reading a good book. I
Mhm.
mean, really just recharging yourself spiritually so that you can get ready to climb another mountain.
Yes, for sure. I love it. So important.
Any other thoughts, concluding thoughts that you can think of regarding wanderlusting? And we talked about 3Ps, and
Yeah.
any other concluding thoughts that you can possibly think of that would be helpful for our listeners?
I'm just thinking about, again, kind of going back to when you're coming back from your vacation,
Mhm.
you finish your vacation, even for those of you who only get 2 weeks a year or 1 week a year. And it's that very little time in your mind that you have to get away. And a lot of people do, they tend to get discouraged and depressed
Sure.
going back into the workforce. I just want to encourage you because this was a personal nugget that the Lord dropped into my own heart as I began to think about, oh, I'm already a month away from having to go back. Is he dropped in my heart. He like whispered to me like this is my purpose for you
Mm.
and this is my assignment for you. So my purpose is different from my assignment. So this purpose that I have as a woman, the purpose you have as a man, like when we go on vacation here this
Mhm.
weekend, only 3 days, right? There's an assignment that he's also given to us, and my assignment is a teacher. And so when I'm getting ready to go back, I need to look at this as an assignment from God and to accomplish that or approach it with an attitude of gratitude. Like this is a job that God has given me to influence lives, students. This is a job that you've given me, Lord, to help provide for my family. Whatever you're doing, whatever your job is, and whatever you're going back to after the vacation, just be grateful and thankful. And if you're having a hard time seeing yourself going back, see it as an assignment from the Lord
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that He's going to bless you and give you what you need to get through another month, year, whatever it is until your next break.
Whatever that journey is.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's got you.
And I guess my concluding thought, Janine, and we talked about this in the first episode of this Summer Lovin' series, and that is remember as a couple that whatever you're doing this summer, whether it's the staycation, vacation, playcation,
Hmm.
find a moment when you're together to just connect. Remember, that's the most important thing of summer loving is to deepen your connection as a husband and a wife. When we were up on the mountain, Pikes Peak, on Sunday, we just had our moment together. It was a beautiful
Hmm.
moment. It was the snow, those small tiny pieces of snow were just falling. I don't know what
Grapple.
the grapple was falling, and it was a 44 degrees, and we were walking on the
Yeah.
top of the mountain and eating a donut,
World famous
eating a
donut.
world famous donut, and it was just like this is the life. I'm here with
Mm.
the most important person in my life. I'm here with my spouse. We're doing this together, and there was just a great connection that
Mhm.
happens. And so I would say husbands, wives, really try to find those moments where you can just connect together and just strengthen your bond, your love towards one another
Mhm.
during the summer months. And so
Yeah,
that would be my word
for
of
sure.
wisdom and advice to all the couples. Good
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah.
Good information. And I wish we had this information when we were young, married.
And God got us through.
Yeah. So good.
There's many great times.
Yeah. Before we wrap up today's episode, just wanted to make you aware of our podcast platforms. We're on every major podcast platform. Wherever you want to listen to the podcast, you could just go. You could just not Google. You can Google, or you could just type in the favorite marriage. And if you will do us a quick favor, it only takes like literally like 20 seconds.
Mm.
If you listen on Spotify or Apple, if you can rate that, there's those 5 stars. We love you give us a 5 star, and you can also write a review about the Favorite Marriage
Mhm.
podcast. And what that does is that really helps us enlarge our podcast platform to a larger community, and it
Mhm.
gets this information out there to help more couples. So if you can do that for us, that would be fantastic.
YouTube?
And yeah, and then we have our YouTube channel, The Favorite Marriage, and all of our podcasts are all also video casts. So you can watch the
Mhm.
video version of the podcast. And so we like to say if you love cheap comedy, um, go on to our YouTube channel, and we have a lot of fun. You get to see us in person and get to see what we look like. Thanks for tuning in today. We are so grateful for all of our listeners, and we pray today that you would experience God's favor
On your forever.